Welcome friends to Farm Fresh Designs 59. Today's video is part of the IOD Holiday Collection Release playlist. If you want to see other videos from this playlist, make sure to click the link in the description box below. My first project is a decanter that I thrifted, and I started out by painting it with Dixie Belle Bonding Balls, which is a good primer. Then I go back with Dixie Belle Paint Blue, which is a beautiful light blue paint, and I put several coats of paint on that. And on two sides of the bottle, it has this starburst design, and then on the other two sides, it has just something where you could put a little emblem right there in the center. So I did not actually get the footage of making the resin castings of this, but I wanted to make sure that you saw this mold. It has a Santa and a snowman and two like crystals. So what I'm starting out with are some resin castings that I made with one of the crystals, and I just kind of break it off because it's really easy to break. And I paint that with Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint. So while those are drying, I just gently brush on some Mod Podge onto those sides that looks like a little starburst. And then I sprinkle on diamond dust. So please let me caution you, if you use this, it is made out of glass. And if you have small pets or children, make sure to be really careful with it. And then I also put that on some of those castings that I put in that little part where you can put an emblem. Now I'm going to make a bottle topper. So I have put hot glue down at the bottom because I'm isolating those different parts of that Christmas tapers. And then this is some floral wire, and I just kind of twist it several times, and you're going to see what I use it for. So I will be starting off by making some resin castings of the little snowman part of the Christmas taper. So I just want the top of it. And that's why I've got the little hot glue down there at the bottom to keep that resin from pouring down into the rest of the taper. And then I'm going to make one of the resin castings, and I will pop it out. And then when I get ready to make the double-sided resin casting, I go ahead and I have that off to the side, and I'm going to pour the resin into the casting, into the mold, and then I will put that little wire in it, and then I will put the casting that's already been set up on top of that. So watch me how I do that. Now, this is what I love about IOD molds. They are so smart when they make these molds because they make them so that they're exactly the same on both sides. So it makes it really easy to make double-sided molds. So I've laid that little wire in there, and I very gently press that into the resin. And then it's going to kind of squish out just a little bit. So I just use some little Q-tips to kind of wipe back that extra, because I want to make sure that those two castings set up. And it sets up really fast, and I pop off that hot glue, and I just use a little piece of pliers because it is hard to kind of break off those little pieces down at the bottom and make it really smooth. And then I also go back with some sandpaper to just sand it down, but be really careful and leave that wire inside of it. I'm then going to paint it with that Dixie Belle Paint Blue on both sides. And while that paint is still wet, I go ahead and sprinkle the diamond dust on that, because that will also stick to the paint. You don't necessarily have to put it on with glue. And this is going to make a beautiful like bottle topper. So think about it. For Christmas, you could buy somebody a really nice bottle of wine, and you could make them their own bottle topper. Or if they don't like wine, you could buy a little decanter and also make a bottle topper for that. But isn't that lovely? And that little ribbon is something that I've already had. So I just stick that in the bottle, and I hot glue on that little ribbon. And look at this. Isn't this just gorgeous? And this would make such a wonderful Christmas gift. And on these tapers, there's a lot of different shapes. So in the coming days, you're going to see some more bottle toppers that I'll be making because they're so perfect for this because they're all symmetrical. And then this little bottle topper, this is what it looks like on the side because that resin just kind of molds together. But I just love this. I think it's so, so pretty. And if you didn't want to make the resin castings for this bottle, you could also be using the stamp set that's just come out called Vintage Snowflake. Okay, so now I'm going to make a gift bag to put this bottle of wine or this decanter in. So I'm using the new stamp set called Frosty's Sweet Shop. So all I want to do is I want to stamp the word Frosty. So I'm using painter's tape to tape off all of the parts of that stamp that I don't want to ink up. And then I use IOD China Blue ink to stamp it with. So I stamp it with that ink, and then before I lay it down, I pull that painter's tape back up, and that ink didn't get on any other parts of it, so it makes it really easy to stamp. And I put that up at the top of the gift bag. And then within this stamp set, there's actually 2 snowmen, so I stamp one of the snowmen right up underneath it. And this is going to make a perfect gift bag for you to put your bottle topper in and maybe possibly the bottle of wine that you get someone for Christmas. So it's just a complete package. And by using that painter's tape and kind of isolating that part that I just want to stamp, it makes it really easy. Now remember, that little gift bag's got those little handles on it, so you want to make sure that you push extra hard just to make sure that it goes around those little handles, even though the handles are on the inside. Now the hard part is that if you accidentally smear any on like a little paper gift bag, it is going to make it a little bit hard to clean it up. But there were a few parts that I kind of had a little smudge on it, so I just dabbed on a little paintbrush, just a little bit of white paint, and just very gently dry brushed over those areas. Because yes, sometimes you are going to make a mistake when you ink up. And if you're something that you're actually painting, it makes it a whole lot easier. But when you're doing it on paper, well, it's a little bit more difficult. So I had to kind of fudge in those areas to kind of show it so that it wouldn't show that smear on it. But these stamp sets would also be great for like little paper Christmas ornaments. But I just love the way that this turned out. So if you've not used stamps before, let me just share a little secret with you. So you lay it down and don't let it move around at all. And this little tool that I use that I got off of Amazon, you don't have to have this, but when you're stamping, just hold it still with one hand and then kind of move the other hand around and press it down until you make sure that you've got all the ink on it. And then when you pull up that stamp, pull it straight up so that it doesn't smear. So no gift bag is complete with a little hang tag, but instead of a hang tag, I'm just going to make a little Christmas ornament. So these are some of those Christmas tapers that I didn't get it recorded, and you could go ahead and make it double-sided if you're making it all at the same time, but I didn't, so I just glued them together with Titebond Thick and Quick, and I used some of those little ties to hold it together, and then I just drilled a little hole in it, and I painted it with Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint, and then of course I go back with the diamond dust and sprinkle it all over. And then that's just something that you can hang onto the gift bag to go with their package. And it's just a complete gift altogether. So I wanted to share with you this idea because this is something that you can be working on now as you start getting ready for your Christmas gifts that you'll be getting for other people. So when I made this, I did not actually have the stamp set called Vintage Snowflakes. So another thing you could do is just stamp some of the snowflakes, all over this little gift bag. So in the comments below, tell me what you think. Is this something that you would be making for a friend of yours? Now, I've made a lot of bottle toppers on my YouTube channel, so make sure to go back and look for those videos because I like to use a lot of the different molds for bottle toppers because the IOD sisters make the best molds that you can make double-sided. So let me know what you think today. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you enjoyed the video today, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel and become part of our family. And I will see you in my next video. Have a wonderful day.